Now on to our next task. On the left, we have our wallet UI. For example, let's say we want to send money to person B's blockchain address. For the amount, let's write 1.0 and click on Send. Our wallet will be sending a transaction to our blockchain node, and that's the part we want to work on. Let me enlarge this visual and explain. We have person A's web UI. From this wallet, we want to send to 00008080 a request using the API for transaction posts to create a transaction. Then this web server, that's our backend of our wallet, will receive this request from here. Based on this information, this server will be using the API for blockchain node that's in our backend and create a transaction. Our 00005000 refers to this network, so we'll need to verify if we can add, and if we confirm that it is okay to add, we return a response and also return a response to our web UI. Our lecture regarding the process up to this point might be long, so we'll break this up into a couple smaller sections. First, we're going to focus on this UI, and this UI sending the information needed for the transaction to our backend server. Let's get right to this. The first thing we're going to do is open up our project. Inside our wallet server, we have templates and then our index.html. We're going to access this file, and then on the right side, we have our UI. We have our send button here, and when we click on the send button, we want to send the transaction information to our backend. We have send money button, and we want to write the code for when this is clicked. Let's write the code for this underneath our Ajax JavaScript. We'll start here and write the dollar symbol, then send money button. We want to write what should happen when this is clicked, so we'll write click. And regarding what should be written inside this, we'll write function and what should happen when someone clicks. For this, let's write let confirm text and our confirmation text, which is going to be, are you sure to send? We want to confirm with the user before sending the payment. Then we'll write let confirm result. There's going to be a pop-up confirmation message, and this is going to be a function where we want to confirm as to whether this is okay or not. Later on, we'll actually see this all in action using our UI, which will hopefully make it easier to understand. On this line, we'll write if confirm result doesn't result in true. Then we want to alert cancelled, followed by return. Let's restart our web server, and let's refresh here and click on send. Then we see are you sure to send pop-up message. We'll click on cancel for now. And now let's focus on the code that comes after this step. If the OK button is clicked on, then we need to write let transaction data. First, we're going to focus on the data that needs to be sent to our backend. We'll write sender private key, and we need to retrieve our private key information from our private key. So following this, we'll write val. We needed 5 pieces of information for our transaction to be completed. I'm going to explain while writing the code here. First is sender blockchain address, followed by sharp blockchain address, then val. This pertains to this blockchain address section. And next is the recipient's address. So we'll rewrite this to recipient. And same here, we'll write recipient blockchain address. I copied and pasted the previous line, and we'll rewrite this line to say sender public key. We needed this information too to complete the transaction. And then last comes value. We'll retrieve the send amount value, which pertains to the amount section here. Once we've included these 5 pieces of information to create our transaction data, all we need to do is send this to our backend using Ajax. For this, we'll write Ajax here. And then our URL will be /transaction. We'll create a URL like so later on. And our type will be post because we want this to mean we're going to create a transaction. Our content type will be application JSON. We want to send the information using this content type. Then our data will be JSON, followed by stringify. And when this process results in a success, we'll write function response, followed by alert, send success. And this is the message we want to return when we have a success. When there is an error, we'll write function, response, then alert. We want an alert message displaying send failed. This is JavaScript and we were missing some of the ending symbols, so errors are being displayed since this is Golang. I've corrected this, and whether we have this or not, the program will still run. Whether you want to include this or not is completely up to you. And for those who want to confirm this, we can include console info, response, and display the content of this response, and for here, console error. We can display the content of this error response. Now let's go back to project. And in our wallet server, we have our wallet_server.go. We'll access this, and here we want to add on our new API. We're going to copy this top section and paste this here. For this section, we can say create transaction. After we're done with this, we'll go down below, and for our handle func section here, we're going to register this. So we'll write handle func transaction and register our create transaction. And now on to our content. We'll say switch rec method, followed by case HTTP method post. In this case, this time we'll write IO write string, and we'll make this simple. We'll write success. Then our default. If we have something other than our post, then we'll use write header HTTP status bad request, followed by log println. We'll write error invalid HTTP method. We can write our log like so. And after we've gotten this far, we'll restart our web server. Let's look to our right. Whether you want to write an amount here or not is up to you. We'll click on send and click on OK. When we do, we get the message send success. Let's bring our status bad request up here just to see what happens. I'll write fail for this, but the text can be really anything. Now let's see what happens. We'll restart this. And for those who want to see your log, you can go to More Tools, then Developer Tools, and then click on Console and access it. Now let's click on Send, then OK. This time we got the message failed. And we see down below our bad request error. Now that we saw how this works, we'll remove this bad request. What we're going to do is to return with our IO write string. Going forward, we want to use JSON, so at this time, we want to create a utils that will create JSON to display whether the status is a success or not. For this, we'll access our utils folder. We'll right-click on New, then New Go file. We'll name this JSON, then click OK. For this, we'll first write JSON status. Our message is going to be our argument, and we'll be returning a byte, followed by m_JSON Marshall. Just now, this was automatically imported. We're going to create a struct, followed by message string JSON message. We've covered this section before, and inside our message, we're going to retrieve our message from our argument, then returning m. Now let's get back to our wallet server.go. We want to use our JSON status that we just created under utils. We'll write utils, JSON status, followed by success. This is a byte and it's a string, and this is what we're going to write in our IO writer. Now that we've gotten this far, let's restart and refresh our screen once more. We'll click on send, then OK. We get our send success message, then we'll click on OK. Underneath our UI, we get the message success text. This has been returned to the UI using JSON. And even on the front-end side, processing data using JSON is easier, so this is commonly used. In our case here, we simply use this to create a JSON status to display whether it's a success or not. This brings us to the end of this lecture, and see you in the next lecture.